I was crouched down in the eco garden of my primary school with three of my 12-year-old classmates. We're hiding behind pots of plants and flowers, far from where we wanted to be, the canteen and the playground, where our friends and food were. What was common among the four of us was a card that was pasted on our shirt with a big word written on it. What had happened earlier was that we were hauled into the office of our form teacher, Miss Tiong Su Kwang. And because of a word that we had uttered inappropriately at some point that week, we were given that card, and as punishment, we had to wear that for the whole of recess. My friend got a four-letter F word. I got a four-letter S word. And because we're not going to be humiliated by being paraded around, we decided that we will hide in one corner and commiserate our misery together. So my friend said, "Hey Eugene, tell us your story, how you get caught." I said, I was doing homework at my desk, and I made a mistake, and then I said, shh. And who knows, Mr. was standing right behind me. I was very lucky. And they all laughed, and they said, "Next time, put a little mirror in a pencil case so that you can see who is behind you." The memories are behind me, but they remain vivid even after 28 years. I turned 40 this year, and as part of the special celebrations, I decided to list down 40 people, or places that made an impact in my life. So one morning as I was doing this reflection, Miss Tiong Su Kwang's name came into mind, and I decided I had to visit her that very day. Another recess incident happened. I love playing football, and this was 1993. Singapore was still in the Malaysian Cup. We had our dream team, Fandi Ahmad, Abbas Sa, B. Sundramuthi. We got a good chance of making the cup final. And so after the game was played on a weekend, we needed to have our own games on Monday during recess. But there was one problem. Miss Tiong's class was right after recess, and she didn't allow sweaty boys in the class. But we had a plan. We will play for 20 minutes, score all the goals we want, and then for the remaining 10 minutes, sit under the ceiling fan in our classroom, hoping and praying maybe that the sweat will become dry by the time she walks in. The first part of the plan worked, but alas, there was no divine intervention for the second. And so the whole football team was ordered out, except the goalkeeper, because he didn't have enough sweat. And though we were standing outside the classroom, in one straight line facing the wall, and we were in the urinal conversation post. So when guys go to the toilet, you stand straight, you do whatever you need to do, look into the wall, and if you need to talk, speak at an angle such that the sound waves will reflect off the wall to whoever you want to talk to. So we did just that. Talking about the game and the commentary about the goals earlier, while at the same time making fun of Miss Tiong Su Kwang's abbreviated name, TSK. And so we were doing all the time while making fun of her. Another time, Miss Tiong walked into the class, and she announced that there will be a surprise test the following day. We asked her, what would we be tested on? She wrote on the board, everything under the sun. Now, to a 12-year-old, a test was scary. A surprise test was double scary. A surprise test without any coverage was a nightmare, because you could never go home and tell your parents, I finished studying already, can I go and play? But that was the time I remembered everything under the sun. Because up to today, I can still remember who taught me that. And that was Miss Tiong, who made a lasting impression in me. She didn't just teach me the academic subjects. She taught me to be a gentleman. To not just show up on time for your appointments, but to be in the best state of mind, not in sweaty shirts. She taught me to be a man of my words, or at least a man of clean words, because my vocabulary bank was purged of all the words, at least almost once in a while there's a slip. And that could be traced back to Miss Tiong's influence. She taught me God, because every morning she made us listen to her devotions. And above all, she taught me life, because she went beyond her call of duty and made an impact on the people under her charge, one student at a time. Up to today, I still keep a class photo we had, the 43 of us with Miss Leong. I'm definitely not the teacher's pet, I'm sure of that. But that day, I had the privilege of standing next to her. Behind the photo was a poem that she penned for each of us. Mine read, I'm finding a way that is new to say something just about you. Your gentleness showing, your generosity flowing. Eugene, about you, that is true. I never understood those words until recently I connected with my friends via WhatsApp. And they told me the address of Miss Leong. So that morning, I decided to go down. I was looking for her unit. I was walking around rows and rows of different units and had difficulty finding her. Until I realized they were all in chronological order. And then I saw her. I hadn't gone to her home, nor did I go back to my old school. But I ended up in the cemetery of Lim Chu Kang. Because Miss Leong passed away 17 years ago, at the age of 36, after a fight with illness. There was no one there at the cemetery that morning, and I stood there and saw the tombstone. The words, all things work out for good, were on it. And I reflected that yes, all things she did for me, whether I liked it at a point of time or not, did indeed turn out for good. I never got a chance to say thank you to her ever since I left school. I want to use this class graduation performance as a way to pay tribute to her. And I say, I'm finding a way that is new to say something just about you. A lasting impression you made for all you did and said. Miss Leong, about you.